We got WrestleMania matches that had the wrong winner.
A
Let me
few days
see.
ago, I made a video on WrestleMania 31, and one of the biggest matches on the show was Sting versus Triple H. In that video, I mentioned how I thought Sting should have won that match, and I think it's fair to say that most fans feel the same way. And after seeing a post on Twitter about matches where the wrong person won at WrestleMania, I found myself going down a pretty deep rabbit hole. So I decided to go back all the way to the first WrestleMania of the millennium and find matches over the last 24 years where I believe the wrong person won at the event. Matches that I feel could and should have had different endings, from some
Yeah, there's
obvious
a
ones
lot
to some hot
probably.
takes. Let's get straight into it. We begin at WrestleMania 16, or if you're cultured, WrestleMania 2000. And this isn't just a match where I feel the ending should have been different, the whole match should have been different. Triple H versus Foley versus Rock versus Big Show for the title. This match was the first
Damn.
ever WrestleMania main event that ended with a heel standing tall. Of course, it had to be Triple H. Now, this is a pretty universal one. I think most fans can agree that Rocky should have came out on top, especially considering that he ended up winning just a month later in a match that was 10 times more memorable. And it's one of those cases where the entire WrestleMania, in my opinion, would
Rocky.
have been better if we got the ending that the fans actually wanted. If Vince turned heel on Rock before Mania and we had a one-on-one match with Austin saving the day, that would have been a
They should have
legendary
done
Mania
it
main
at
event.
WrestleMania.
Instead, we had a match with a Big Show thrown in and Mick Foley, and mind you, Mick Foley literally retired at the February pay-per-view. And if that wasn't enough, we got 4 McMahons in each corner, because when I ordered WrestleMania for $40, I paid to see a motionless ass Linda McMahon in the main event. Nah, for real, like, I think we can agree, Linda McMahon cannot be a real person. But beside the match, Rock should have won. He should have got his crowning WrestleMania moment. He was the face of the company in 2000. Instead, he lost, and this poor guy had to wait until 2002 to win a big Mania match. Nah, he should have won
Against
this
Hulk
one.
Hogan,
Next up,
brother.
WrestleMania
I
17, the
don't know.
TLC tag match. Now, this one isn't anything drastic, this isn't anything crazy, but just to make the video a little more fun, a little more chill, I wanted to throw some non-obvious ones in there that are just my opinion. Edge and Christian winning here was fine, it was great, the match was so insane, it didn't
The
really matter
Hardy
who
should have
won.
won
But Edge and
that.
Christian had won the ladder match at WrestleMania 2000, they had won the TLC match at
They should
SummerSlam
have been
2000, and
undefeated
I really think the Hardys could have got their moment here. When I think of TLC
in
matches or ladder
TLC
matches,
matches.
I think of the Hardys, which is funny because these idiots barely ever won them, but regardless,
Right.
beside the point, this would have been the perfect time for them to finally win one.
They were
I
always
just think it
jumping
would have
off
been a
the
great
top of
moment. They were the
the
most popular
ladder
team,
though.
Edge and Christian
Jeff
losing would
Hardy.
have not hurt them at all, and it just would have been nice. But we can't have nice things, can we? Now
Doing
instead, Edge is
crazy
gonna win
ass
all these
shit.
matches, and then in a few years proceed to take Matt Hardy's girl from him. The Hardys really can't have anything.
That's a
And
funny
you
way
know
to
who also
put it.
can't have good things? Apparently Booker T in 2003, because WrestleMania 19, Triple H versus Booker. Now everyone and their mom knew this match was going to be in the list, so I won't even go into it like that. But if you're going to have a build like this match had, where you bring up a lot of racist shit, you got to do the right ending. Oh, and maybe don't take 20 seconds to pin the poor guy after hitting your finisher. Yo, this match is infamous, and rightfully so. Definitely the wrong winner, and they handled it in the worst way possible. For the next few years, surprisingly, the right decisions were made for the most part, and there isn't honestly anything that I would really change. I mean, hey, Triple H finally did the job for 3 years straight. Don't worry, he's gonna get it back in blood real quick.
Yeah, it's
But
been
one decision
the
that always
last
annoyed me is from
WrestleMania has been really
WrestleMania
good.
24 from 2008, a mania that I watched probably over 100 times as a
I think
kid.
that was
And
in
you know what really
Atlanta,
grinded
wasn't
my
it?
gears? Randy Orton beating John Cena and
I
Triple
don't
H.
know.
Randy winning
Oh
wasn't
no,
the
it
worst
wasn't.
thing. He was putting in work that year, I understand it. It was way better than having Triple H walk out of WrestleMania with a spinner belt. They had Cena make the greatest return I've ever seen, shock the world at MSG and win the Rumble, but then they
I
instantly
remember
turned
that
him into a
WrestleMania.
bozo. See, first he used his WrestleMania title shot at No Way Out of all shows, which he ended up losing because Randy stopped the referee, which hey, it was genius, I can't really hate on it. But then you have him go to Mania, get a second chance at the title, and he loses? And it makes no sense because Randy literally lost the title less than 39 days later to, you guessed it, Triple H. And yeah, it wasn't that serious. If anyone can lose at Mania and be perfectly fine, it's John Cena. But my guy literally went Super Saiyan to come back early, had a historic return, and then he ended up with nothing. Which to me, low-key, does kind of devalue that Rumble win. I love the '08 Rumble with all my heart, but when I think about it, I instantly remember that right after this, they turned him into a bozo, and they never did anything with that
And then
win.
he
Now,
became
the next
Super
year, WrestleMania
Cena
25 had its
later
own fair
on.
share of interesting decisions,
Oh yeah,
including having
worked
a
out.
man win the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royale. Cause that's funny. But how about after Randy Orton becomes the biggest savage in wrestling, wins the Royal Rumble, RKO's Triple H's wife, beats up his
Yeah, that
father-in-law,
was
gets a
Randy's
5-star
year,
wanted level, ends up losing
2009.
in the main event to Triple H. Dread it, run from it,
What
but
a
Triple
fucking
H
heel.
walks out of WrestleMania 25 with a spinner belt, and I am sorry, Triple H with a spinner belt is absolutely disgusting. If it ain't the world title, Triple H should not be holding a belt. But beside how goofy it looked, it's simple. Randy was in the prime of his career and they did him dirty. Now the match wasn't the best, the crowd was a little dead
Yeah.
after Shawn versus Taker, but it didn't help that it had the stupidest stipulation I've seen out of any WrestleMania main event. The stipulation was if Triple H got disqualified or counted out, he would lose the title. Yo, these idiots spent months
Bruh,
creating a
what
feud
the
that
hell?
became a blood feud, right? A very intense feud with all this craziness happening, and then
It
when it
should
was
have
time for
just
the match
been
at
no DQ.
WrestleMania, they literally ensured it and guaranteed that nothing exciting was gonna happen. People wanted to see them kill each other. Let's make it
Exactly.
so that's impossible. And while we're at it, let's just have Triple H win too, right? And send the crowd home happy. Oh, so now you want to send the crowd home happy, but back in 2000 when it was time for that, you didn't want to do it. I see you, Triple H, I see you. But nah, this was different. If there's ever a
Big
time for the
mad.
heel to go over in the main event, this was it. People actually wanted Randy to win in 09, and he wasn't just retaining the title, he was winning the title after he won the Royal Rumble. In my opinion, just horrible execution all the way around. On to WrestleMania 26. This one might be a little bit of a hot take. So I absolutely loved Batista in 2010. His
Batista.
spotlight entrance, how much of a demon he
Lutista.
was. To see one of the biggest faces of the generation go from, oh, he's such a nice guy, to biggest scumbag in the company was great. And going into Mania as a champion, he defended the title against Cena and lost. Everyone knew this was
Bro, I
going to
used to
happen.
hate him
Everyone
when he
knew
went
Cena was
against
gonna
Rey
win. It was so
Mysterio.
predictable, but
When he
it
turned
just
heel
felt
on
wrong.
him.
The man was doing the best work of his career, and it all
That
led
was
to
the
him
worst.
losing to Cena at Mania after just holding the title for a month. I think Batista winning would have been the right decision. The stadium would have been shook, the crowd would have went crazy, and it would have made Batista look even better and stack the odds even more for when John Cena does beat him. They had 2 more pay-per-view matches after this, and Cena could have won the title back easily, no problem. And since this wasn't even the main event, you didn't have to worry about the whole sending the crowd home happy thing. As the years go on, Mania 27 was what it was. It's a good torture device, and the way the main event went down had to be the way it went down so we could get the main event for WrestleMania
final
28.
boss.
And when it comes to Mania 28's main event, it is very interesting. Rock beating Cena was very shocking. People were not expecting this, and they were literally jumping for joy when it happened. But a part of me has always been like, if Cena had just won at 28, then the next year they wouldn't have done Twice in a Lifetime. Hey, yo, society without Twice in a Lifetime just would have been beautiful. The Rock only had 1 more Mania match left in him for the next 11 years. He could have had a totally different match and it would have been a banger. But it's tricky because at the same time it's like, oh, The Rock came back and he lost his first singles match. Does he still move the needle the same way after losing? For this one though, let me know down below in the comments. Should have Cena won once in a lifetime. WrestleMania 29. Guess who's back?
The Rock ain't
again.
losing no more.
Trips is
He's a
back.
final boss.
Tell a friend. This is another one that has been discussed to death, and
Brock
it is obvious. I
Lesnar.
think everyone agrees. Triple H did not need to beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. There was absolutely zero reason for that to happen, but of course it did. WrestleMania 30 is infamous for this exercise. Going back to 2014, a lot of people wanted Bray Wyatt to beat John Cena. Of course, that is not what happened because, you know, Cena wins LOL.
Super Cena
but
came
I see
in.
the vision. I think this match should have definitely ended in disqualification where Cena snaps, goes crazy, and finally breaks and ends up hitting Bray Wyatt with a chair. The storyline potential would have been great. They could have went so many places from there, but
Bray
instead,
Wyatt
like I
was
said, LOL, Cena
on
wins.
another
But at the
level.
same time, I don't hate it because it's like Bray Wyatt wasn't ruined because John Cena beat him. Bray
Yeah.
Wyatt kind of got ruined because the creative team had no idea what the hell to do with him. And then the other match on this night was, of course, the streak ending. And this one is pretty split 50-50 in the community. A lot of people are like, yo, it's cool. The streak ended. It is what it is. But a lot of
He
people
should have
take it
been
personally
undefeated.
and they did not want to see the streak ending. I'll say this. I'm down with the streak ending. I think it's an amazing moment, a legendary moment where
No,
none
it
of
was
us watching will
stupid.
ever forget where we were. But
'Cause
if
Brock
I could
Lesnar
change
didn't
one
need
thing,
it.
I would have The Undertaker win, but I would make sure it's his last WrestleMania match ever. It would have been the perfect way to go out. It would have been the ending because the thing is, it was obvious. The Undertaker was not the same Undertaker of 2013.
Undertaker
We weren't getting any more 5-star
shoulda
Undertaker
been
WrestleMania matches, which is
undefeated
what everyone wanted at that
at
point. So
WrestleMania.
it just would have been perfect if he won that match against Brock, and then that's it. He just rode off to the sunset. But no. Let's go to Saudi Arabia and get some CTE while we're at it.
Damn near got killed.
WrestleMania 31. I mean, this shows Sting vs Triple H match is the whole inspiration for this
Oh
video.
my God.
Triple H has appeared in this video 5 times, and that's being nice, okay? A lot of people would have had him versus Sheamus on here as well. But I'm gonna cut him some slack and not do that. But man, Triple H in his prime was going crazy. And a lot of you after this might just be like, oh, why do you hate Triple H so much? What did he ever do to you? Oh my, he should have won those matches. It's fine. Hey, I don't hate Triple H. I'm a fan. But guys, what are we doing here? At this point, after all the analysis, I'll let him have WrestleMania 2000. You know what? That one, you can have it, no problem. But 19, 25, 29, and 31, and it's not like he had some minor matches. There was no Yoshitatsu versus Triple H to open up WrestleMania. We're talking about some big-time matches. There was no need, Playboy. But as we move on to 2016 and beyond, this is when things got a little cooked. This is when it seemed like the company had just kind of lost touch and just began doing the most random things. I'm
It's
talking about WrestleMania
Jericho.
32, Jericho defeating AJ Styles for no reason, even though AJ was going to challenge for the world title the very next month. I'm talking about WrestleMania 34, an undefeated Asuka losing to Charlotte, and not just losing, but tapping out. I'm talking about Brock Lesnar beating Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 34 and extending that godforsaken 2018 feud for no reason. I'm talking about Kurt Angle losing his retirement match against Baron Corbin, who was dressed up in a dress shirt and dress pants. Why? What the hell did Baron Corbin achieve after this that needed him to beat Kurt Angle in his retirement match so bad? And one thing I've noticed is the mid-card that's been getting clapped in the past few years. They've been the real victims of these random crackhead decisions. But let's go back to last year
We
WrestleMania
got
39
Triple
because
H
I do
now,
have a
so
personal one that I really wish went the other way. And maybe I'm just biased because I went there, and maybe because I'm biased because he's my favorite wrestler of all time, but I really wish that John Cena won that match against Theory.
yeah,
I mean, I wish the match was longer,
and
I wish
also
the match
against
was
Solo.
better, but yo, I'm just so tired of my boy coming back
They
from
did him so
Hollywood and
dirty.
losing every single match. It was Mania in Hollywood, Cena was back, why not have him win for the first time in years and use that loss for Theory to build him back up? Going into this match, Cena was destroying Theory on the mic. It was clear that he was in a different class from him, and Theory wasn't even close. So why not have Cena win this, and it sets up an arc where Theory can become elite. He can use the loss and become better than ever and slowly grind his way back up, so in the future when you do a match with Theory and Cena, it might actually mean something. Okay, but beside that, I don't really care about Theory. I'm just tired of my boy Cena losing. Like, Cena, I get it, you want to come back and you want to put talent over, but brother, I am begging you, can you please just go Super Cena on these hoes one last time?
Bruh,
And another match on this show that people often talk about is Edge versus Finn, and a lot of people think that Finn should have won that match, especially because he was a demon. And I tend to agree because Edge wasn't really going to gain anything from winning, regardless if he was staying or leaving. What was he really going to gain? He won, cool. He lost, he was going to go away for a few months and come back. Everyone would have forgotten, whereas the demon would have got some credibility back, and would have got some more momentum. Obviously, it worked out. Everything's fine. It wasn't the end of the world, but it makes sense to see why Finn should have won. But the burning question is all about the main event of WrestleMania 39. Was it the right decision or was it the wrong decision? And in terms of that, I say let's see how WrestleMania 40 ends before we talk about that one. But yeah, those were my findings after going down my little rabbit hole. And yeah, remember, all these are subjective, all these are just personal opinion. There have been a lot of matches, and there's a lot of finishes that a lot of people would change. And on the contrary, there's a lot of matches that I'm fine with, but some guys out there probably losing sleep right now because Shane McMahon beat The Miz at WrestleMania 35. But it is what it is. I just thought this would be a fun exercise. In the comments down below, let me know, is there anything that I missed? Is there something you agree with, disagree with? Let me know down below. Can't wait to read your comments. It's your boy Pav, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video.
Can't have everyone
Just
happy, so... But yeah, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment, all that good stuff.